Good evening, humans. Tyrannosaurusmoth here, and tonight we're taking a look at the AEW Supreme Collection Sting figure from Jazwares. Let's do this. Aesthetically speaking, this figure looks fantastic, and yeah, they've really nailed the overall likeness. And I guess speaking of that, starting right off, I think in terms of the build, in terms of the formula they used here, I think it works, especially for, you know, kind of older Sting, though, especially with the gear, you could definitely kind of fudge this, especially with different head sculpts as younger Sting. So I think was probably intentional, but yeah, they did a really good job on the build here and the proportions all around. Just everything looks as it should be. Nothing really looks awkward, at least to my eyes. And not only that, but I'm really happy because we got a ball joint here at the waist, which we'll obviously look at directly in articulation, but just definitely I think helps the figure overall. And you can see we do get those scorpions on either side of his gear. We get pretty much the same legs we've seen before. Pretty sure almost all the way down to the boots. And that's another thing we'll get into in articulation, but we do get these scorpions here on the side of the boots as well. We get some stitching and stuff like that. So not a bunch of other paint otherwise, though on the back of the gloves, we do get the scorpions there as well. So very efficient branding. Then we get to the likeness, and this is the default head with the kind of worn out makeup and him doing the yell, and just spot on likeness. Probably one of the best head sculpts that Jazwares has done for AEW, period. Just really love the way this looks. From what I've seen, there's definitely been some QC with the different head sculpts, some QC issues. This one in particular just seems to always be on point, so they definitely at least paid attention to that. So yeah, overall, just really great looking figure. And it's a Supreme, so of course we get a ton of accessories. So let's jump right in. And right out of the box, we do get a pair of these gripping trigger finger hands. Again, always curious why they did the kind of trigger finger. It definitely angles the bat a little bit more, so I guess that's probably the reason there. Then we get a pair of splayed out hands, much better for the yelling face, with that same texture on the back for the gloves. And then finally we get a pair of fists, and these are interesting because they are clearly fists that from another figure with wraps on the hands as opposed to the actual glove texture, which is weird. Definitely not a deal breaker, but a weird corner cut there. So but we do get the scorpions on the back as well, just like we do with the other hands. So that's that. Then speak of more apparel, or more apparel, I guess different things here. So we do get the Sting mask, and really nicely done. I mean, just kind of a oval shape with, you know, obviously facial features. Paint not really applied properly here. Missed the mark a little bit, but not the worst thing in the world. A little sad, but again, results are gonna vary. That's Jazwares QC for you. Then we get 3 different head sculpts. So we looked at the yelling kind of paint coming off face in the last section. Then we get a neutral expression, probably my favorite because I really love this makeup in particular. Really like that they did pay attention to detail and kind of not paint the inside of his ears, just kind of how it's applied in real life. So really nice there. And then this kind of like sneering, grinning face. This I've seen mixed results, and certainly the ones I've seen on shelves, like the eyes aren't always aligned on this head sculpt in particular, which is really weird. So if you do see it on a shelf, definitely check that out. But overall, like definitely good face sculpt, and if the paint's applied properly, it looks nice. So there's that. Then we get into actual apparel. So we get 2 different shirts. We get a short sleeve shirt with the you know, Sting's face of the baseball bats. I think we've seen this one before. We do get Velcro on the back there, and then we get a long sleeve shirt with the Scorpion logo, again with the Velcro on the back. Then we get this really nice jacket. I really love the way this thing feels. It's a little difficult to get it to fall on the figure correctly just because of how like thick it is up here with all the lapels and such. But it feels super nice, and it is lined. Then we get like all these gold accents for the buttons, and here on the cuffs, here around the collar. And speaking of which, we do get the designs. Actually, not on. Oh yeah, a little bit on the collar, so you can see that kind of imprinted there. We get more apparent here on the lapels. So really nice touch. Feels extra quality. Just really good all around. And of course, we get the red scorpion on the back. And then finally, as we've seen with every Sting AEW figure, we do get his bat. So that will do it for accessories. articulation balance here are really nice, especially compared to previous Jazwares Sting figures. We can see freestanding kicks, absolutely no problems here. And yeah, definitely not perfect, but there's some things we're gonna talk about. But for the head, we are on that ball hinge. So coming up about that far, we're definitely gonna run into the hair, can bury the chin, do some little bit of tilt. We get rotation. We do have butterfly joints, which aren't the most generous, but they definitely move. For the shoulders, those come up almost to a complete Y pose. I will say these were super tight right out of the package. And these are just like previous Supremes, they do just pop out. So I would recommend popping those out and kind of clearing any extra plastic, which ended up being the issue for mine. Just kind of like cut that away, and then you can have more freely moving arms. So there's that. So be careful of that. Then we get bicep swivel, double jointed elbows bring us to here. We get hinge and swivel at the wrists. We get a ball joint at the diaphragm, ball joint at the waist, which allows for some really nice crunch, some really nice arch back, and some side to side. We get rotation from both the top and the bottom here. Then we get to the hips, and coming out, not full splits, but absolutely further than they need to be. Still get some great looking kicks. Front kick, not quite, actually getting almost a 90, never mind. It was running into the sculpt here at first, but a little bit twisting and it gets where you want to go. Thigh swivel as well. Double jointed knees coming to here. Then we get boot cut and a toe hinge. Get those focused, there we go. And then finally we do have rocker kind of, but again, these are basically the same boots, and because that sculpt is so tight, you just really don't get anywhere. I guess if you heat them up, there you go, you get some out. So yeah, I guess work with them and you can get a little more range, but overall, so that will do it for articulation. Getting into size comparisons, here he is with some other AEW figures, with some other wrestling lines, with some domestics, with some imports, with some monsters. Finally, with Articulate Icons Oni and yours truly in human form as a Valorous Action Force figure. So my final thoughts on the AEW Supreme Collection Sting figure from Jazwares is that this is a fantastic figure. Great articulation, the aesthetics are great, the accessories are on point, just a lot of really good stuff. Really, the only thing holding this back is Jazwares QC. So you got to be really careful about what you get. And luckily I found mine on the shelf, especially because my pre-order got canceled, even though I got it first day, I think first hour, like pretty much immediately. And Walmart is absolutely horrendous with that sort of thing. So I lucked out, and I really hope the best for you as well, because these were definitely out there, but I don't know how abundant they were. Obviously not as abundant as the Penta Supreme when that hit. For whatever reason, when that finally hit shelves, that was just everywhere and didn't move, because I think a lot of people probably got it at the ringside. But that's besides the point. This figure in particular, I think if you're a Sting fan, it's probably a must own. If you're collecting AEW Jazwares stuff, then absolutely worth adding to your collection. And yeah, I wish you the best of luck in finding this out in the wild, or I hope that if you did do a pre-order that yours got fulfilled. So that being said, I hope you found this review informative and somewhat entertaining, and if that's the case, I hope to see you back here. Pardon me, because I do multiple reviews a week of action figures related to tokusatsu, dinosaurs, monsters, pro wrestling, and more. So if any of that appeals to you, come on back, let's talk about some really nice plastic, just escape the world for a while. But really, at the end of the day, I hope you're well, hope that all of your toy dreams come true, and most importantly, I hope that you and yours stay weird, simians.